just want to be given the chance.
You were the pioneers that built women's football.
The opportunity to succeed. Or even to fail.
You are the league of their own.
Figure out what the you need to do mentally to be able to sacrifice everything for the girl next to you.
You better knock the shit out of her.
Put the hurt on them first. Keep them on the ground. Stick your foot on their throat.
It is a cold and rainy afternoon in Chicago as LFL football night rolls into town. Hello, LFL fans. Mitch Mortaza joining you alongside Bobby Hugo. A little bit later, we have AUDRA Marie joining us from down on the field. And Bobby, here we are, a special Sunday afternoon edition of LFL football night, potentially a new tradition here. What better way to get it started than Atlanta versus Chicago?
Today's game will determine the identity for the Eastern Conference. A lot of people argue the two-time defending champ, the Chicago Bliss, are the team to beat. But I'm telling you, Atlanta is just as good. In the Legends Cup, they only lost by 6. Opening night, they only lost by 3.
Yeah, these two have always played each other very close. Now, there could be another storyline to this one, and that's Mother Nature. We're expecting periods of rain, possible thunderstorms rolling through, overall creating very wet conditions for both offenses.
Just like last time we were in Chicago, rain will play a factor. Both sidelines have to keep the footballs dry for the quarterbacks. In fact, when I was talking to Dakota Hughes in Atlanta, during the practices, she put the game balls in a trash can filled with water to recreate tonight's conditions, wet, soggy, heavy footballs.
Yeah, and absolutely, and like we said, weather will play a factor. In addition to that, we've also got another little story forming, and that is the hatred between Atlanta and Chicago. And we decided to go and delve into that a little more. For that, we sent AUDRA Marie to Atlanta and Chicago's camps this week to meet with both teams.
Atlanta seems to be getting a lot of publicity, even though you guys are two-time champs. How does that make you feel as the leader of this team?
It's actually really annoying because Atlanta hasn't won a single thing, not one championship, and they act like they're LA, who's already won 3 championships. LA, it makes sense for us to be rivals with. Atlanta makes 0 sense.
You guys are not getting a lot of respect on the Chicago side. How does that fuel your fire as a veteran?
Okay, so naturally for me, when I don't like somebody, it just makes it that much more of a competition. So I literally want to fight every one of those girls on the team. It took everything out of me during walkthroughs to not walk over and slap the shit out of somebody. So that's what drives me. I don't know what drives anybody else, but that's where my attitude comes in, and the more attitude I have, it exudes on the field and I explode.
Coach Hack, the Atlanta girls fired back at you after reading your Facebook post saying that you need to, quote, remove your tampon.
It's playing out just like I thought it would. They're so mentally weak. They're so focused on what I'm saying instead of focusing on the game and the game plan. I'm gonna get in their heads. It's gonna be so easy. I'm gonna remind them that those 3 girls are from Jacksonville. They didn't win nothing when they were in Jacksonville. Now they had to go to Atlanta, and combined, they're still not gonna beat us.
You guys have won 2 championships, yet everybody seems to be talking about Atlanta.
It pisses me off. They haven't won anything. They didn't win anything last year. They beat 2 crummy teams during the regular season, got lucky against Jacksonville. This year, the only wins they have are against Omaha. They've won nothing in 2 years. They don't deserve to be even spoken in the same sentence as us.
Now, mentally, how do you keep your team from being intimidated by the Chicago roster?
And why are you assuming that we're intimidated? Have you met my team? Nothing about the Chicago Bliss is intimidating. They play a decent brand of football. It shows with their 2 Legends Cup championships, but at the end of the day, we are not intimidated by those chicks whatsoever. Have you met Adrian Purnell? Have you met Dakota Hughes? Have you met Lauren Ziegler? Those are the ladies that go out in that field without fear of anybody or anything.
Head coaches Dane Robertson of Atlanta and Keith Hack of Chicago genuinely do not like one another. We've seen competitiveness and cattiness from players, but with these teams, it starts from the top down. So much so that league officials have had to put more security on this field than any other game in LFL history. Even the officiating crew have been warned to watch for taunting and late hits. Back to you guys.
Thanks, AUDRA. And that sets up an epic battle. It's the Atlanta Steam taking on the Chicago Bliss on a special Mother's Day. Kickoff is next!
Champion Gloves, the custom and official on-field glove of LFL athletes.
We are back to Toyota Park here for a special Sunday afternoon edition of LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza, Bobby Hugo. And now we go to Audra Marie before we kick it off.
Hey guys, I'm down on the field with head coaches Dane Robertson of Atlanta and Keith Hack of Chicago. Coach Dane, tell me, how real is your team's hatred of Chicago?
You know, it's nothing manufactured. You know, it's good old-fashioned football. You know, it's not about being classy or respectful. This out here on this gridiron, this is where it's just going to be just beat the shit out of each other. But we're going to play some awesome football, give these fans a great show tonight, and we're going to win this game.
Thanks so much and good luck to you guys. Coach Hack, this Atlanta team has built quite an animosity towards you and your entire Bliss organization. Tell me, does that make winning this game that much more important to you tonight?
You know, we treat them just like we treat anybody else we play. We're not going to put them on a pedestal higher than some of the other really good teams that we have beaten before. They're just another team in our way, and they like to think that it's a rivalry. We don't consider them a rival. LA, the teams in the past that we've battled, those are rivals. Those are rivals built on time. This is just relatively new, and they're 0-2 against us. So until they actually beat us or, you know, make it close, then we'll worry about them. Until then, we're not worried about them.
I like your confidence. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Coach Hack continues to give no respect to this Atlanta team. Dane Robinson hates it. This is going to be a fun football game.
Yeah, I think that's mutual, Bobby. Both teams feel they've got the edge on the other. Although obviously Chicago has won the last two matchups. The Legends Cup we talked about as part of the pregame show. Edged Atlanta by 6 points on that controversial callback. And then obviously to start this season, Chicago beat him 24-27 as we get this one underway. That's Dominique Collins, short kick. Adrian Purnell fielding it at about the 15-yard line and doing her best impression of a returner out to midfield.
Great field position for Atlanta. I look for them to come out strong with this passing game. They really think that they can throw deep on this Chicago secondary.
Yeah, that secondary now returns Kim Perez after she was suspended in the previous game. And look at Dakota Hughes, a solid 2015 season.
Great stats, 24 completions, 44 attempts. She is just one of the finest passers I've seen ever in the LFL.
Ball at midfield. Dakota Hughes under center. And she's going to hand it off to Lauren Ziegler on the right side. And that Bliss defense converging. Neka Nawani and Heather Furr on the tackle.
Atlanta showed this offensive set last week. They came out running, actually very successful. It's a triple I set. They give it to Ziegler in the back of the I formation. Great play by Nawani, hold her to 1 yard.
Atlanta feels they can have success against this defense. Chicago coming in, giving up 140 yards per game on defense. Now Hughes under center, looking over that defense. Now the fake option. Now she will pitch it out. After Lauren Ziegler spinning her way down to about the 18-yard line. She's going to be a key figure of this rushing attack.
This is a new wrinkle. We haven't seen this. A straight option down the line. Great read there by Dakota Hughes. Pitching out the last minute to Ziegler, who gets a solid 6 yards. Great offensive start for Atlanta on the ground.
This is exactly what Atlanta needed. A nice, sustained drive to open this game. Dakota Hughes now facing a 3rd and 3. Ball at the 18-yard line. A little miscommunication between her and Adrian Purnell, the free agent tight end from Jacksonville. Now from the shotgun. Hughes on the direct snap. Scrambling to the left side, finding Lauren Ziegler. And Ziegler will take it down to the 15-yard line. Ziegler is having an MVP-type season, especially offensively.
We all knew that Ziegler was an all-fantasy safety, but now she's showing it on the offensive side. She played receiver with Orlando years ago, made all-fantasy. Here she is again years later with Atlanta doing the same thing. She's doing it all this year.
She is a competitor, Bobby. You mentioned she had a great career in Orlando, and now chasing that ring in Atlanta. Now a 1st and 10. Ball at the Chicago 14-yard line. Again from that I formation, right side pitch to Ziegler. And a monster hit. That looked to be Allie Alberts coming up from the free safety position.
Great hit by Alberts, but it's not good when your free safety has to make a tackle. Great arc blocking to free Ziegler around for 6 solid yards.
A solid tackle there by Alberts, although we've got a penalty on this play, and from the looks of it, they're discussing it with Chicago, so it should go against Atlanta. And we're going to hear from head referee Roger Ainen.
Holding, number 1 on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, first down.
That's a real big penalty by Atlanta there. Coco Montgomery caught on a hold. They had a great drive, taking it down to Chicago 14. Now it's 1st and 20. I think we're going to see Dakota Hughes on for the first time tonight.
That is the number 1 ranked passer in the game right now. Dakota Hughes coming in with 11 touchdowns against 0 interceptions.
Ready, break.
If we were worried about a sophomore slump, she's pretty much done away with that.
No, she stepped up even more this year. The Rookie of the Year, she looks like a solid veteran in her 2nd year.
Hughes under center now. Fakes the inside handoff, right side dump off. Adrian Purnell making her way down the sideline. And that is an 18-yard gain.
Dakota Hughes is simply a gunslinger. Routinely connects on high-risk, high-reward passes. She reads the blitz. The blitz comes in. She finds wide open in the flat. Adrian Purnell, 18 yards, almost gets the first. What a read, what a call by Atlanta.
Hughes managing this offense incredibly well. And speaking of that offense, let's meet the starters.
Dina Wajowski, your center. Nas Johnson, Lightning running back.
Coco Montgomery, your tight end. Jody Nettles, wide receiver.
Lauren Ziegler, wide receiver.
Adrian Purnell, your tight end.
Dakota Hughes, quarterback.
We all talked about Hughes, but I think it's very interesting. Nas Johnson hasn't even seen the football yet.
Now a 2nd and 2 play. The handoff to Jane Caldwell, who had a great debut against Omaha. And therefore the tackle was Yashi Rice, the all-fantasy defensive end. Let's meet the Chicago defense.
Chantel Taylor, DN. Nakawani, middle linebacker. Incredible Yashi, defensive end.
Dominique Collins, your corner.
Ali Alberts, safety. Deandra Fry, corner.
Heather Furr, safety.
Watch out for those defensive ends, Rice and Taylor tonight.
And that is a faulty snap from Dina Wajowski. Although Hughes managing a yard on the carry, that should be enough for a first down. That looked sloppy to start, but they did gain the yard.
Great athletic play by Dakota Hughes. Bobbled the snap, somehow regained it, and dove for 1 yard. First down for Atlanta. They'll keep the drive going.
Now a 1st and goal. We're about halfway through the first quarter. Coach Dane Robinson, intense as always on the sidelines. And they felt they need that intensity to come in here in Chicago and steal a win. Now a 1st and goal. Played about 5 minutes of the first quarter. Hughes under center, dropping back, little dump off, Coco Montgomery on the left side. That is the number 1 receiving tight end in the league, coming into this ball game with 11 receptions.
Hughes anticipated, great anticipation, threw to the open window, read the blitz. Nobody covered Coco Montgomery, came wide open for an early touchdown for Chicago. This crowd is stunned right now.
They were expecting that run to Ziegler, and Coco Montgomery, one of the best hands on this team. And as we talked about with people like Jody Nettles and Lauren Ziegler, you certainly don't expect Coco Montgomery to be your leading receiver, but she definitely is that. Now the extra point attempt from the 1 yard line. That Chicago defense bunched in. Ziegler on the right side, getting around Dominique Collins. And that will give Atlanta a 7-0 lead early.
Misdirection play, had the Chicago defense on their heels. Who would have called this one? We have not seen Heather Furr in the Chicago offense, and we're almost 6 minutes into the first quarter.
A big drive, 25 yards on 7 plays, as Atlanta draws first blood.
John Joy, protecting LFL athletes and the game.
Back to Toyota Park here for a Sunday afternoon edition of LFL Football Night. Mitch Mortaza, Bobby Huco, and Audra Marie. And here's our first look at Heather Rockstar Furr and that Chicago offense.
You know what's going to come right at you right now. The Ferrari. Ferrari Harris is going to go right at Atlanta.
In that first matchup, Atlanta was teeing off against Christelle Harris. And there you go, Bobby. Left side, that is the Ferrari. And she will gain 11 yards on the carry.
Good running backs. Usually it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust. With Ferrari Harris, 11 yards and a cloud of dust. Unbelievable run to start out the game.
And Atlanta talked about teeing off against Christelle Harris, not allowing her to beat them. They were going to try to force the pass against Heather Furr. But early on, Christelle Harris having some success. From under center, now they're going to try that right side of the defense, and breaking through the defense, through arm tackles and into the end zone is the Ferrari. That did not take long, Bobby.
Ferrari Harris always answers the bell. Great blocking up front by Fagiano and Nawani. She breaks one tackle, goes in for a 24-yard touchdown. Wow. Hack is happy about the touchdown, but a late hit, I think, on Furr.
I am so sick of this shit. You cheap shot motherfuckers.
Coach Keith Hack not happy, and you could see Heather Furr pointing at the board.
Plays already passed Furr. Watch her get cold cock right there. Totally after the plays passed her.
That's fucking bullshit.
And that was a late hit away from the ball, and that's what's got Coach Hack really hot on the sidelines.
Hey, hit at the fucking whistle. Hit at the whistle. Hit to the whistle. Hit to the whistle, you cheap shot motherfuckers.
These two flat out do not like each other. Wow, another hit on Furr.
And that one looked a little more legal to me, and you can see there is a lot of bad blood between these two. And here we go. Adrian Purnell taking exception to the head slap by Christelle Harris.
Tell your player to take a good hit and shut the fuck up. Get the fuck over there. Shut the fuck up. Don't break your fucking head. Fuck you.
This is getting ugly early. They might go out of here in the first quarter.
A lot of tension down on the sidelines. Let's go down to Audra Marie for a report.
Hey guys, it's really heated down here. Coach Hack did not like the late hit on Heather Furr, and as you can see, it is a battle royale out here. Thanks guys, back to you.
After the play, we have unsportsmanlike number 13 on the offense and number 3 on the defense. Both players will have to sit one series. We will have another on-time zone for the extra point.
We talked about extra security during the pregame show. We were not kidding. And apparently Adrian Purnell and Christelle Harris are both out of this game for at least a series.
Really? Come on, we know better than that.
A lot of tension early in this one. We're not even out of the first quarter yet.
Purnell continues to talk smack to Coach Hack even after she got penalized.
I'm a little confused, though. That penalty was after the play. This should be assessed, if anything, on the kickoff. But yet Chicago will have another attempt. This is just a drop ball by the officials, and Chicago converts. That'll tie the game at 7, but they should have never had that opportunity, as it looked like the unsportsmanlike call was after the play.
With all the mayhem on the field, I think the referees got confused.
You focus, man. Anything to win. I'm a whoop Hack's ass.
Purnell has not stopped talking. She doesn't care about the penalty. She doesn't care about Coach Hack, obviously. She is such a competitor, one of the greatest players ever to play in the LFL, but at some point she's going to have to tone it down.
Yeah, and that's the argument to be had. This was one of the knocks against the Atlanta team last year, that they lacked the intensity and emotion to play this game. That is one of the biggest reasons they brought in Purnell, and she's given them a whole lot of that now.
They're not backing down to the champs. They don't care about their two-time defending champs. She got right up in Coach Hack's face twice. That's unheard of.
Those two are definitely very intense personalities in this game. And now getting back to the football side of things, we've got Dakota Hughes back on the field. A 1st and 10 from the Atlanta 15-yard line. And that offensive set from the shotgun, that is a shotgun draw play handoff. Naz Johnson running out of her shorts. And she gains 11 yards on the carry.
We spoke about how Naz Johnson hasn't touched the football in the first series. She loses her shorts right there like a Copper Tone commercial, but a great run. She is ready to go because she hasn't touched the football yet.
And one of the things you don't know about Naz Johnson, she has had an incredible season, averaging 6.2 yards a carry versus Christelle Harris's 6.8. So quietly having a great year is Naz Johnson. Again from the shotgun, looking down the field, now checking down. Coco Montgomery had the ball, just couldn't bring it in.
That's a focus drop by Coco Montgomery. Just have to concentrate on the football and look it in. She did not on that play.
After all the great publicity I gave her on the first drive, having the best hands on the team, on cue, Coco Montgomery drops the ball.
Great athlete, though. She's a super athlete.
Yeah, she is a beast on that front line at 5'9" and 160 pounds of force. High snap this time from Dina Wojciechowski all the way back to the 5-yard line. What a monster mistake. Luckily, Jessie Locklear, the rookie running back, recovers.
You rarely see that by Wojciechowski, way over Dakota Hughes' head. They were bringing the veteran Ziegler in motion, kind of a wildcat play, but now instead of having the ball deep in Chicago's end, it's way back in their own end.
That is a big turn of events here. Now Dakota Hughes in Atlanta facing a 3rd and 31. I'm not sure you got a lot of plays in your playbook here for 31 yards.
You know what? With Dakota Hughes' arm, they do have the play. They can make it.
Again from the shotgun, and again a bad snap. Scrambling to the left side, throwing down the field to Jody Nettles, and cannot connect. And this brings up an interesting situation early. We know the new rule in the LFL this year. If you're backed up inside your own 10-yard line, you can elect to punt the ball.
Coach Dane Robinson told me he rarely wants to punt the football because he has such a strong arm quarterback in Dakota Hughes. But here, 4th and 31, I think he's going to have to.
Yeah, I think you're out of options here with 31 yards in a crucial game that will more than likely determine first place in the Eastern Conference. And you can see Heather Furr barking orders back. She's really your defensive coordinator as well.
She's simply a game manager on both sides of the football.
And here we go, Lauren Ziegler back to punt. That brings us officially to the end of the first quarter, and it has been an intense, hard-hitting affair. We're tied up at 7.
LFL Mobile, giving you access to the gridiron goddesses of the LFL with exclusive photos, videos, live game reporting, and fan promotions. LFL Mobile. Download on your Android or iPhone.
Back for second quarter action. It's the Chicago Bliss and the Atlanta Steam. We are tied at 7. And now Atlanta backed up inside its own 5-yard line will elect to punt the ball as they face a 4th and 31. Ziegler back. Just an all-around athlete. Another bad snap by Dina Wojciechowski. Great looking kick. Directional kick. And what placement. That goes out at about the 1-yard line.
That was perfect. That's the old Coughlin corner. You aim it right for the flag, and it went out on the 1-yard line. Unbelievable kick.
That's probably the best kick she could have ever had. That's a perfect kick.
Heather Furr and Allie Alberts confirming that was a solid punt by Lauren Ziegler. That, once again, a new rule, obviously, and the entire league is getting used to it.
Heather Furr was the kick returner on that play. She let it get over her head. If she would have stopped that, they might have had the ball toward midfield, but now they have it inside their own 1-yard line.
You definitely could not have had better placement than this. Chicago starting deep inside the 1 there. Of course, the inside insurance handoff to Christelle Harris. And Harris lucky not to be caught for a safety. That looked like Adrienne Purnell and Dina Wojciechowski.
Atlanta came with a full blitz, trying to do exactly what you said, trying to catch Furr or Harris in the backfield for a safety. And Adrienne Purnell came very close. They kept it inside the 1.
Yeah, we talked about it at halftime. We saw the stats. There wasn't a single pass attempt by Chicago. So you got to wonder, at some point, this Atlanta D is going to tee off, and that's a loose ball. And it looked like Chicago recovers, but that could have been disaster for the Bliss.
Adrienne Purnell is upset with herself for not recovering that football. That would have been huge for Atlanta. But what a free agent acquisition she has been for Atlanta. Her combined with middle linebacker Leanne Harden, who's leading the league in tackles right now. What a combination. What a defense Coach Dane Robinson has.
That is the #1 defense, allowing only 86 yards a game, albeit they've had 2 matchups against the Omaha Heart. Now a 3rd and 6 inside handoff, a play they love here in Chicago. Nneka Nwani, big gain on the sideline. Nwani goes for 4 yards. That'll create a 4th and 2 for this offense. Let's meet the starters for Chicago.
Jamie Barwick, center. Nekawani, tight end. Dina Fagiano, tight end. Shabrina Civilian, wide receiver.
Ali Alberts, wide receiver.
Ferrari Harris, the running back.
Heather Furr, quarterback.
As always, the Chicago offense is going to rely on running back Chrisdell Harris.
And Harris picking up a big first down on 4th and 2. That'll move the chains for Chicago.
The blocking wasn't that great. This is all Chrisdell Harris. They tried a couple crackback blocks that did not work. She got 5 yards all on her own, created her own holes.
Chrisdell Harris, one of the most solid pickups. She's been here for 3 years, replacing Tasha the Tank Pryor, who was a cult following here in Chicago. But they've long since forgotten about the Tank. Now they're riding a Ferrari.
I never forgot about the Tank. She personally destroyed us in Miami.
A 1st and 10 play down the sideline to Ali Alberts. Lauren Ziegler at that free safety position, not fooled.
They try to play action pass off the straight option play, which they're known for, but they haven't shown it tonight. Atlanta didn't go for it. She was triple covered. Great throw by her, overthrowing it, so they could go back to huddle, try another play.
Give some credit to Chicago, though, trying to loosen up that defense. Otherwise, you can expect them to play the run the rest of the way, this Atlanta defense. Now a 2nd and 10, ball at about the 14-yard line. Another handoff to Harris. Harris trying the right side, and that defense converging quickly. Lauren Ziegler, Dino Wojcicki, Leanne Harden, everybody meeting at the runner.
This series, they are converging on the football, trying to strip the football, gang tackle Harris, and it's working. They might force Furr to throw the football.
An obvious passing down, as you alluded to, Bobby, for most teams. Although this Chicago team firmly believes in their running game, and I don't think they believe enough in their passing game.
Heather Furr, surprisingly, can throw the football. They just don't believe in that offense. Coach Hack loves the old Chicago Bears of '85 offense. Run it down your throat with Walter Payton, except they're doing it with Chrisdell Harris.
A 3rd and 6 ball at the 18 now. Another handoff to Harris. Her bumping with Furr a bit, and you can see that defense is pinning back their ears and just isoing Chrisdell Harris.
Leanne Harden, she's one of the hard-nosed, tough linebackers in this game. She's overcome a lot of injuries. In fact, if you look at her knees, it looks like she was in a knife fight with a midget.
Leanne Harden, we can't talk enough about her development. And now this Chicago defense facing an early critical down.
Down the field! Money down!
As they cannot give much hope to this traveling Atlanta team. A 4th and 5 now with a little over 5 minutes remaining. And you can see first struggling a little bit to get the play called in.
What a first half by Atlanta.
They are definitely more competitive than anybody thought. Now a quick play. This one, Harris, she's gonna need 5 yards, not even close. Keon Harrison, the converted corner, now playing DN on an incredible open field tackle on Chrisdell Harris.
Great bull rush by Harrison. Stood up the offensive line, and who would have thought this? Chrisdell Harris held short of a first down. Great series by the Atlanta defense.
You will not see that often. Chrisdell Harris being caught short of a first down. But once you go to the well that many times to the same person, that defense eventually is going to key in on that runner.
Usually this is where offensive coordinator Mark White likes to go for the jugular and throw a deep pass. Let's see if he does it.
A 1st and 10 play now. Dakota Hughes going back to work. In no hurry as she looks over that defense. And looks like now to be checking down to another play. 1st and 10, handoff. Lauren Ziegler deep. Gaining some momentum and just pushing that pile now. This will go down as a 4-yard run by Ziegler. And what's great is they're working on the clock, they're maintaining possession, and they're keeping this a close game.
That was an at-the-line checkoff by Dakota Hughes. She read which way the free safety was lined up. They had that I-stack formation, and she went against the way Heather Furr was, and they get a solid 4 yards.
And that's what's great about this second-year quarterback. Not only does she have the arm and some scrambling ability, she's regarded as possibly the smartest quarterback in the game.
I absolutely agree with that. She has studied the game inside and out. That's all she does when she's off the field, study football. And you're right, she has become one of the elite, if not the elite, quarterback in the LFL.
And now we've got a penalty. Roger Ainen on the call.
Illegal snap, number 20 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
Leanne Harden. Interesting, they've got her in at center after Dina Wojciechowski's been struggling all first half. And she got a false start.
Illegal snap, she moved the football before it should have been moved, and she's going out of the game for that.
You cannot move the ball after it's been set, obviously. And that is not their starter at center. Let's see if Wojciechowski goes back in, and she does. That is number 17 on your screen. Now a 2nd and 11. Hughes under center, left side toss play. This to Doss Johnson. And Johnson also showing the afterburners.
She does have afterburners, but if she would have made the first cut, watch the big hole to the right. She went left, look at the hole right there, bam. If she goes right, she might be in the end zone. She went left, got a good gain, but that could have been 6 right there for Atlanta.
That was a gain of 5 yards by Naz Johnson. Now we'll see a 3rd and 6 play. Ball at the Chicago 19-yard line. Plenty of time on the clock. Atlanta still has both of their timeouts remaining. We're under 3 minutes and counting now. Hughes from the shotgun observing that defense. Looking down the field now to the left side, and that's Lauren Ziegler dropping the pass. And Atlanta's just shooting themselves in the foot right now.
A rare drop. She might have the best pair of mitts in the LFL. A great timing route right there. Hughes put it right where it had to be, and she simply dropped the ball. Would have been a 1st down.
We had a drop earlier in the first half by Coco Montgomery. Now Lauren Ziegler, 2 of their best hands on the team. But both making key mistakes here in the first half with drop balls. And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. It has been a competitive and very physical game in Chicago.
Warrior Black, the official eye black of LFL athletes.
Back with 2 minutes remaining on LFL football night. A special Sunday afternoon Mother's Day edition as this Atlanta offense returns to action. They're facing a 4th and 6 now. From the shotgun to Hughes, dropping back to pass, not finding anybody, rolling right, and that's a fumble. Yashi Rice coming off the edge, and they're gonna call that an incomplete pass.
Yashi Rice comes off the edge better than anybody in the LFL. You got Rice on one side, Chantel Taylor on the other. A nightmare for a quarterback. They got to Hughes right there. Great play by the Chicago defense.
Now, I'm not sure if that was a fumble or a forward pass. Nonetheless, Chicago will take over on downs. Ball at the 20, 2 timeouts, and a full 1:48 to go.
This Chicago defense is stifling. Toyota Park might become the house of pain the way they hit around here.
These two are very physical teams. You usually don't see that in the Eastern Conference. Most of the physical play is in the West, but not this season. First and 10 again, little option pitch out to Christelle Harris, breaking in, and now cutting back to the outside.
They ran the option away from the twin set, isolating the defensive end. Great downfield block by Nawani. Big gain being called back, it looks like, though.
We do have a flag on the play. An early indication it's against Chicago.
Wow, this is a huge call.
Holding, number 14 on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, first down.
And that is continued woes on the season for Jamie Barwick, the backup center for Chicago. Barwick stepping in for Holly Jiskra, who they expect will return at some point this season.
Coach Hack is beside himself. That was an unneeded hold. The center, that play popped so quick outside, she didn't have to hold. One quick block, and that's all she needed to do. She brought back almost a touchdown run by Christelle Harris.
She is the only inexperienced frontline player for Chicago. Nneka Nawani and Dina Fagiano, part of 2 championships. Another pitch out play, this time to Alberts. And Alberts and Ziegler meeting at about midfield.
A long way to go for Allie Alberts. Again, a misdirection play, option around the outside. It looked good and quick, but Ziegler closes as fast as any safety in the league, went head-on-head with Alberts and knocked her out of bounds.
Ziegler, one of the best hitters in the game. And unfortunately for Allie Alberts, she's been on the wrong end of monster hits. Just ask Ashley Salerno of Los Angeles last year. And we now have a timeout on the field. That's Chicago wanting to talk it over. Now this game, Bobby, we looked at the schedule. These two play each other again at the end of the season. But if Chicago holds on and wins this one, they'll have a 2-game edge. In essence, they'll win out the Eastern Conference.
Atlanta coach Dane Robinson knows that. That's why he is so hungry. He's been all over his team all week to win this one. He knows it might be over if he doesn't.
Now, the one thing that Atlanta does have for it is Omaha is also in the Eastern Conference.
That's true.
So by process of default, these two could be the playoff matchup and probably will be. And now Fur back to pass, scrambling on the left side, almost caught from the backside. Lauren Ziegler coming up to make the tackle, keeps her inbounds. And that'll preserve the clock because it looks like she went out of bounds. A little bit of confusion, but they have stopped the clock.
Heather Fur is such a great athlete. She doesn't have that lightning speed, but somehow she always finds another gear to get the first down.
That was an 11-yard scramble by number 15. That creates a 1st and 10 now with 1:06 remaining. Now Chicago down to 1 timeout. We have running clock outside of 2 minutes, but inside of 2 minutes, it is NFL rules. So perhaps we'll see a few passes here by Fur. And we've got another penalty here. That could be a false start on the right side of that Bliss line.
False start, number 14 on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Now that's Jamie Barwick again. And she's going to have a tough time in the locker room at halftime with Coach Hack.
Coach Hack is definitely upset, but I hate to say this, but they did this all last season when they won the championship, had silly penalties the whole year. Again, here we go. It's ugly Chicago football. Atlanta should be winning the game, but it's 7-7.
Yeah, a lot of lost opportunities here in the first half for Atlanta. We've noticed several drops, obviously some poor snaps by Dina Wojcicki. And now under a minute remaining. Looks like the reverse coming. Adrian Purnell smells it out. One of the best pure tackling safeties the game has ever seen. Just blew up that play.
That play was really slow developing. Adrian Purnell did read that play. She almost stole the handoff. She tackled Servilian as soon as she got the football for a loss of 1.
And now head coach Dane Robinson of Atlanta looking for a timeout possibly.
Not running! Why is the... Hey, timeout.
And there is that timeout. He wants to preserve some time in case they get the ball back for the final minute of play here in the first half. We are back for the final minute of play here in the first half. The Atlanta Steam versus the Chicago Bliss, and just the type of heavyweight bout we expected. We've got a notched up game at 7. Now a 2nd and 16 for the Chicago offense from the shotgun. Furr looking to pass left side, and Lauren Ziegler just gets there. Pass intended for Kim Perez.
Lauren Ziegler saved the touchdown. What a ball hawk. She knows where the ball is going. She got there. Kim Perez looked like she had 6. Play action pass. Furr gets it out there. Ziegler makes a great break and breaks it up.
You cannot say enough great things about number 14. Not only an incredible athlete, but a great leader off the field. In a very short period of time, she's been named team captain on this Atlanta Steam team.
At some point, this Chicago offense has to have an effective passing game. I don't see them winning another championship with just running the ball. The big teams are going to get Christelle Harris.
Now a 3rd and 16. Ball at the 20-yard line. There is the pitch play to Harris. Harris moving the pile a bit. She'll gain 6 yards on that carry. And now the clock stops again. Interestingly enough, this is Atlanta calling a timeout.
That is their 2nd charge timeout. It is their last
They've got to believe they're going to get the ball back.
30-second timeout.
That'll leave them without any timeouts. A little over 20 seconds remaining. And you got to figure, Bobby, if they can hold them to a 7-7, they being Atlanta, this is a bit of a confidence boost for them going into the half.
Absolutely, but I think Coach Dane Robinson's thinking more than that. Stop Chicago, but with the gun that his quarterback has, maybe get a quick 6 before halftime.
And now Chicago returning the favor for the timeout. I guess they wanted to see what type of defense they would be set up against. And this will be a 30-second timeout, so we will stay here.
Hey, they can't get a first down here. They cannot get a first down here, all right? Put them down. They're lining, see what we're lining up in? We're going to go deuce. Remember, it's a strong, aggressive deuce. It's a strong, aggressive deuce. We're okay on that? Yep. Sierra, go back in. Offie, strong
4th and 10.
Sierra,
I can see how he wants to have the cover 2, the deuce out there, but a strong one. So if they have Christelle Ferrari Harris run the football, the corners and the safeties have to quickly come up.
4th and 10 now. Ball at the 20 from the shotgun. Furr back to pass. Not finding anything. Stepping up and finding Nneka Nwani. Nwani dropping the ball. She could have walked into the end zone.
Heather Furr being Heather Furr in the pocket. She stepped up instead of running the football, trying to get the 10 yards running. She finds Nneka Nwani wide open in the flat. She could have moonwalked into the end zone for 6. Just didn't concentrate on football, dropped the ball.
And there again, Furr showing she is capable of throwing the ball. I just think it's going to be tough as a quarterback if you're only attempting 1 or 2 pass attempts per half to have any bit of continuity.
There wasn't any continuity. That was not the play. Heather Furr on her own, just scrambling, found her open in the flat. And they're not used to throwing the football. That's why they're not used to catching the football.
Someone that is used to throwing the ball, Dakota Hughes. As we said, the league's #1 passer, now from the shotgun. A little over 16 seconds, finding Naz Johnson in the flat. Johnson smartly gets out of bounds. That'll stop the clock, but we do have a penalty.
Great play by Dakota Hughes, finding Naz Johnson in open space. She got 10 yards and got out of bounds, but I think they're bringing it back. No, it's on Chicago, it looks like.
Yeah, they're marking it off as if it was against Chicago. And this is what's greatly needed if you're only having 11 seconds and no timeouts.
After the play was over, we have unsportsmanlike, number 19 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down, Atlanta.
Yeah, that call was on Chantel Taylor, the defensive end. That'll mark off 10 more yards for this offense, now within striking distance.
Chantel Taylor, she plays nasty through the whistle. But that play, she played nasty after the whistle. Bad time of the game for that. They might score points here before halftime.
And Allie Albert's not happy with the defense or the officiating. Now 11 seconds, 1st and goal, ball at the 10. From the shotgun, looking to Naz Johnson. And Johnson comes down with it, but apparently out of bounds.
They tried to flood the zone. They put Johnson in motion to isolate on DeAndra Fry. She caught the ball but landed on Fry. She looks hurt.
Officials timeout for an injury.
Yeah, we've got an injury timeout here. Looked like Naz Johnson might have got her feet in, but they are ruling her out of bounds, and she seemed to have landed on DeAndra Fry. They're still working on Fry on the ground. And Dakota Hughes now rallying the troops.
Hey, we got one play. We have one play. We need to take advantage. Look how close we are. We cannot let this opportunity slip. We have to score. If we score going into halftime, we have so much momentum because they get the ball back first half. Hey, we got this. Let's go.
She seems like such a veteran, rallying her troops, trying to get a score before halftime.
So now DeAndra Fry on her feet. It looked like she got dinged up when Naz Johnson landed on her. And I think that's what's happening right now. She seems a little out of it.
They went up together to get the football. They came down together. I think she hit the back of her head.
And if that's what happened, potentially a concussion, the league's policy will force her out of this game. That may be all we see of DeAndra Fry. Now a second and goal ball at the 10-yard line. Dakota Hughes looking to pass, looking over the middle, now cutting back to the left side, buying time. Nobody open in the back of the end zone. And that will bring us to the end of the half.
A lost opportunity. Her receiver slipped in the corner of the end zone.
And we are officially headed into halftime in a physical battle in the Eastern Conference.
Follow your favorite LFL players and teams and receive breaking news stories. Like the LFL's official Twitter page, twitter.com/mylfl.
If there was ever a game in your LFL career where you know that your bodies were broken and you were just physically just hurting, but you grinded through it and you came out victorious, let this be the game right now. Do you understand me? Yes, do you understand me? Yes, play a great second half of football. Let's make our adjustments and let's finish. I'm with y'all. Let's go. Come on.
Let's roll.
An excited Dane Robinson as we take you inside the Atlanta Steam locker room here at halftime. Mitch Mortaza, Bobby Hugo again. Bobby, we've got a 7-7 ball game, but it's a game that could have easily seen Atlanta be up.
Absolutely. Atlanta played the better half. If it wasn't for drop passes, poor snaps, and 2 fumbles, they could easily be ahead here at halftime. For Chicago, it was as advertised. All about Christelle Ferrari-Harris, the best running back in the game. She had 60 solid yards in the first half. However, Chicago did not attempt 1 pass in the first half.
And that's going to be a challenge with them as the Atlanta defense could start teeing off against Christelle Harris here in the second half. Let's look at some of the scoring, though, as there was some scoring in this game. Defenses dominated in the second quarter, but in the first quarter, it was Dakota Hughes engineering a 7-play, 25-yard drive, and it ended with this Coco Montgomery 4-yard touchdown reception. That was followed by the Ferrari being let out of the garage on this 24-yard touchdown run. That has us at 7-7 at halftime. Now let's take a look at the stats.
If you look at the stats, Atlanta has been playing a better game. More balanced offense, great ball control. You can see that they have a great time of possession. For Chicago, it's all about the run. I really think they're going to have to mix it up to have success against Atlanta in the second half.
We are down to the final 20 minutes of play. Who will be in first place of the Eastern Conference, the Atlanta Steam or the Chicago Bliss? Find out next.
Champion Gloves, the custom and official on-field glove of LFL athletes.
Back to LFL Football Night, a special Sunday afternoon edition as we take a look at the 2 running backs tonight.
Naz Johnson for Atlanta, solid 8-yard average. Of course, Ferrari-Harris, 59 yards, 6.6-yard average.
As always, Chicago seems to be riding the Ferrari. Now let's go down to Audra Marie.
Hey guys, I'm down on the field with Dakota Hughes. Dakota, tell me, is this how you saw the first half playing out, as you have had some dropped balls and missed opportunities?
Yeah, we definitely need to capitalize in the second half. We've seen some things on the defensive side of the ball that, we got to capitalize on. We've had many missed opportunities, and we haven't been playing Atlanta Steam football. We're going to correct that and come out better in the second half.
All right, good luck for the second half. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
You can tell she's disappointed because it's only 7-7. They should be up by 1 or 2 touchdowns right now.
Yeah, we talked about it at halftime, Bobby. That Coco Montgomery drop, the Lauren Ziegler drop, not being able to convert right before the half. Those might come back to haunt him. And this looks like a squib kick. That's a loose ball. And Atlanta just got on it. Alfie Gore seems to have recovered the ball, although that is against league rules, not being able to onside kick outside of 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. And Chicago can't be happy about that.
Mitch not to do that. I don't think it was intentional. No, I'm telling you, they were practicing it down there. That's exactly what they were doing.
I'm not sure that was a swift kick. I think she tried to hit it hard. It ended up being a low-line drive. It went off the Chicago player. Alfie Gore was heads up. Atlanta's ball.
And that is what they're going to call on the field, that it was not an attempted onside kick. She just squibbed it. And that's going to be a big call in this game as Atlanta will retain possession. First and 10, ball at the 18. Left side pitch out, Lauren Ziegler. They're going to continue to ride that horse. Ziegler goes for 8 yards on that carry.
This game plan that Dane Robinson has it's not the old Atlanta throw the ball down the field. They're trying to establish the running game first to set up the passing, and so far it's worked, but it's still 7-7.
We've seen a number of runners develop over the year with Atlanta. You've got Naz Johnson, Lauren Ziegler. I also like what I saw out of Jane Caldwell last week. Now a 2nd and 7, ball at the 21. Hughes under center, right side pitch out to Naz Johnson, and she's quick around the edge. But what a hit on the sideline. Nneka Nwani absolutely destroyed Johnson.
Johnson ran into a brick wall. Nneka Nwani, one of the up-and-coming players. Her ceiling has unlimited potential with the Chicago Bliss. Naz Johnson, I don't know why she's not getting the ball more. Her explosion is better than anybody on the Atlanta team, and she's just not getting the ball.
And you could see Allie Alberts upset, encouraging the defense to hit the gaps. Now Dakota Hughes will go back to work, facing a 3rd and 2 ball at midfield. From the shotgun, high snap over Hughes' head. That ball is loose. And Hughes picking it up, scrambling to the left, throws across her body, finding Adrian Purnell. Purnell breaking tacklers into the end zone. The most improbable play of the season. That was simply unbelievable.
Just an incredible play by Dakota Hughes. She was checking out the coverage. The snap went way over her head. She gets the football, picks it up. 3 Chicago defenders miss her. Somehow, Allie Alberts right in her face. She gets the ball off to Purnell, who does the rest on her own, breaks the tackle, shreds the tackle into the end zone. Just incredible action.
Dominique Collins trying to make that open field tackle, and Allie Alberts put on the heat. Just couldn't get there.
Great quarterbacks keep their eyes down the field when they're getting hit. Allie Alberts, bam, hits her, but somehow Dakota Hughes finds Adrian Purnell wide open for a touchdown.
What a play. And we've talked about the heroics of number 18. That's going to go down on her reel. Showing her scrambling ability, her ability to stay in the pocket and then find someone. And here's the extra point attempt by Jessie Locklear. Absolutely no search, and that looked like Coco Montgomery just gave up on the play.
Great leverage by the defensive line of Chicago to stop that extra point. But I think Coach Hack is in shock right now. First, the opening kickoff for the second half. Chicago recovers, and then that play, one of the most craziest plays I've seen in the LFL, for a touchdown.
That drive went for 3 plays, 32 yards, and 228. And now you got to believe this Atlanta team absolutely thinks that they can compete with Chicago.
Right now it's when you have to go for the jugular. Try to get a turnover right now by Chicago and get another 6. But you know what? Heather Furr has been there before. She is a proven veteran. Let's see what she has.
Now that looked like the right side of Chicago's line jumped. No penalty. That's Christelle Harris on the carry. And the Ferrari goes for 5 yards.
If I know Coach Keith Hack, he's going to dance with the one he took to the dance, Ferrari Harris. I got a feeling after what he just saw that last series by Atlanta, he's going back to his main horses.
Absolutely. We're going to see a good, healthy dose of number 13. I'm sure of that. And there we go. Now trying the right side, finding an opening. Great stiff arm. And Christelle Harris tack on another 10 yards to her tally.
Great read by Christelle Harris. Great crackback block by Kim Perez to break her open outside. Harris is just a super downhill runner. She keeps her shoulders square between the tackles and runs north and south.
That run creating a 1st and 10 now. Ball at the 20-yard line. And Atlanta holding on to a 6-point lead. And this would send some serious ruffles through the Eastern Conference if Atlanta could knock off the champs here at home. And that's Harris again on the left side. Just absolutely taking Lauren Ziegler for a ride.
Not great blocking up front. She breaks one tackle on her own, and then she took Ziegler and 2 other players 5 more yards down the field. That's just pure strength.
We always talk highly of number 13, but this is probably one of the more physical games I've seen her play. The blocking hasn't been superb, it's just been her running.
That's how Chicago wins, on the shoulders of Christelle Ferrari-Harris. Chicago Bliss football.
Now a 2nd and 2 ball at the 12-yard line. Right side pitch out. Now Harris cutting it to the inside, finding some room. And again, very physical style running by Christelle Harris. That was good for 8 yards.
Atlanta's cornerback, Alfie Gore, came on a blitz. She got to Harris in the backfield, but didn't have the strength to bring her down. In fact, Harris just threw her off and got a good gain.
And you saw Coach Dane Robinson, the defensive coordinator for Atlanta, urging on his defense here. As Chicago's now in the red zone, ball at the 4-yard line. And you got to factor here, this is Christelle Harris, sweep right or sweep left. An inside handoff this time to Dina Fagiano. And to your point earlier, we always see Fagiano break one. That time they smelled it out.
They tried the Y inside. Coach Dane Robinson is all over it. They tried that last 2 games. It worked very successfully. He shut that down. Dina Wojcicki, what a forklift technique. She engaged her hands. She bull rushed right into the Y underneath.
On one.
That was a loss of 2 yards, so ball's back at the 6-yard line. And Fur under center. Right side pitch. Christelle Harris finding an opening and absolutely stiff-arming Lauren Ziegler. And when in doubt, go to number 13.
Wow, when Christelle Harris is on, the Bliss are simply the monsters of the Midway. Wow.
That was a 6-play, 35-yard drive, taking 3:35 off the clock. And that young lady is en route to game MVP honors if she keeps this up.
Adrian Purnell was frustrated. They knew she was going to get the football. In fact, every play she got the football, and they simply could not stop her.
They did a good job against her in Atlanta for most of the first half. It was the second half where she broke out, and we're seeing that again here. And Christelle Harris cutting inside on the extra point attempt. Chicago now taking the lead, 14-13.
They have a 1-point lead, and there's Chicago showing their swag.
And that'll bring us to a break. It has been an absolute heavyweight battle. Chicago up 14-13. Back to third quarter action here in Chicago as Atlanta's down 1 point to the defending champs. Adrian Purnell and crew now trying to tack up some points. They'll be on offense.
Hey, get off the steroids and shut the fuck up. Hey, let's go. Hey, refocus.
These 2 teams flat out hate each other. I love it. Purnell talking trash in the huddle to all the Chicago players.
It has definitely been the Adrian Purnell versus the entire Chicago Bliss show. Now ball at the 15 as Dakota Hughes goes back to work. From under center, looking over the defense now. Fakes the inside handoff, rolls left. Finding Coco Montgomery in the flat, picking up a block. And getting to the outside is Coco Montgomery for 16 yards.
It seems like Dakota Hughes plays better when she's behind. Captain Comeback finds Coco. Watch this block by Naj Johnson. Wow, to free Coco around the outside. Big play for Atlanta.
The little Naj Johnson getting in front of the defense. Dominique Collins struggling here in the second half. Gave up that touchdown earlier to Adrian Purnell. Now a 1st and 10 as Atlanta now is in business. Ball at the 19-yard line of Chicago. from the shotgun. Good snap this time, looking back at the end zone, gonna check down to the right side. And that was intended for Lauren Ziegler. Kim Perez in coverage. Perez was suspended the last game, back in action tonight and making a difference.
Perez is one of the best DBs in the LFL. She can click and close with the best of them. Looked like Ziegler was open. Dakota got the ball to her, but then bam, Perez closed and knocked it away.
This defense trying to stay tough here, holding on to a 1-point lead. But as you said earlier, that is the cardiac kid, number 18, who absolutely relishes being in this position. She'll have to bring her team from behind once again. And now we've got a penalty. Indications are this will go against Atlanta. Now that is the second offensive penalty on Leanne Harden, who is absolutely struggling on the offensive side of the ball.
This is an offensive coach's nightmare right now. You got things moving, you got mojo going on your side, and you have a false start. All of a sudden, things change.
And now 2nd and 15. Ball at almost midfield. Hughes under center, looking over that defense. And she fumbles the snap, picks it up. And lucky for Atlanta, she was able to do that as Yashi Rice was all over her.
I hate to say that, but it's the truth. You have one penalty, and that screws everything up. And now Dakota Hughes can't even get a snap. It just screws your all momentum, all your mojo offensively. It's off right now.
And this Chicago crowd, braving the weather, are getting behind this defense. Crowd coming to life. 3rd and 16. Naz Johnson in motion from the shotgun, looking to the right side is Hughes. Now heavy pressure. Dumps it off to Dina Wojcicki. No gain on that play. That'll set up a 4th and 16. And Wojcicki taking exception to the tackle.
Before that tackle, Chantel Taylor actually punched Dakota Hughes, almost a face mask, and it was not called.
And I think that was the bit of frustration. And Dina Wojcicki is just Dina Wojcicki. If you're going to stand over her, she's going to come up and say something about it.
Dina Wojcicki from the Steel City, don't mess with her. Mitch, do not mess with her.
Never date anybody from the Steel City is your love advice for week 5 of LFL football night, a special Sunday afternoon edition. Now from the shotgun, 4th and 16, down the field. Lauren Ziegler. That is the 3rd drop pass for Ziegler tonight, and that could have gone for 6.
Great throw by Hughes. Ziegler open in the back of the end zone, but it's so un-Ziegler-like, dropping the ball in the end zone. Should have been 6 points.
And we may have a penalty anyways. It looks like pass interference.
We got offensive pass interference. Number 14 pushed off. That play's declined. 1st down, Chicago.
And we don't see that often. Offensive pass interference. They're saying Ziegler pushed off. Nonetheless, Chicago will take over on downs here.
Well, that explains why Ziegler was so wide open. It looked like a jump ball. She probably pushed off like a basketball move.
And what a turn of events after that Coco Montgomery 16-yard reception. Atlanta went 3 and out. And that's Christelle Harris finding a gap on the left side. There is a penalty on the play. She went for 8 yards on the carry. And we're seeing a lot of sloppy play here in the 3rd.
Christelle Harris, she's like a GPS. You plug in the coordinates, you need 8 yards, she gets 8 yards.
And now we've got a penalty down on the field. Otherwise, it's a 1st and 10, ball at midfield.
Offside, number 17 on the defense. That play's declined. 2nd down, Chicago.
Yeah, they're going to keep the run and decline the offside penalty on Sierra McMillan.
McMillan lined up in a neutral zone, and just a sloppy mistake by Atlanta's defense.
And now another 5 seconds remaining before we are done with the 3rd quarter. And clock continues to run. I don't think they're going to get a playoff. That should bring us to the end of 3rd quarter. here in Chicago, Illinois, in a tough Eastern Conference battle. Two of our best. Chicago leading 14-13.
DonJoy, protecting LFL athletes and the game.
Back for the final 10 minutes of football on LFL Football Night. And this afternoon, we've got Coach Keith Hack of Chicago and Dane Robinson of Atlanta mic'd up. Judge for yourself if these two are competitive.
Hey, hit at the fucking whistle. Hit the whistle. Hit at the whistle. Hit to the whistle. Hit to the whistle, you cheap shot motherfuckers. Go fuck yourself.
Get the fuck over there.
Cheap shot motherfucker. Go fuck yourself.
Break your fucking hip.
Fuck yourself.
Break your fucking hip, old man.
I'll let you kiss one of my 6 rings.
This is LFL football at its finest. Do these guys hate each other or what? When Keith Hack gets upset, he is a mean dude. I saw him walking down Rush Street last night, and the pit bulls ran away.
We were definitely on Rush Street last night, although I don't think there are a lot of pit bulls on Rush Street.
A lot of girls that look like pit bulls.
2nd and 2 now. Quick dump off to Kim Perez. Little bubble screen. And Kim Perez gains 6 yards. That'll set up a 1st and 10 from the Atlanta 11-yard line.
Kim Perez not used much on offense. He's a great defensive back. Keith Hack right there trying to surprise the Atlanta defense.
A lot of the girls on Rush Street look like pit bulls.
I take that back. The Chicago girls are beautiful.
And there's one of them right there, Heather Furr, a native of Plainville, Illinois. And now has her offense on the doorstep of another score. Left side pitch out, Christelle Ferrari Harris. And I'm not sure she got in. Harris carried for 9 yards down to the 2-yard line.
If you're a defensive back for Atlanta, this has got to be a recurring nightmare. When you see Christelle Harris turn the corner, coming full steam right at you, what do? There's nothing you can do.
And you could see the frustration on Adrian Purnell's face. Dakota Hughes on the sideline, knowing that she may have to answer another score. And it is very comfortable in that role, though.
What a game. This is great football after a couple weeks of blowouts. This is LFL good stuff.
Definitely an Eastern Conference battle, and here we go. We've got another penalty here. Atlanta seems to think it's on Chicago.
Illegal snap, number 14 on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
And now Jamie Barwick's night gets worse. That's another penalty on the stand-in center for Chicago.
Trust me, Keith Hack will take care of this. It'll be the last time that Jamie Barwick has this many penalties.
And we talked about Jamie Barwick being the stand-in center. Hallie Driscoll, the all-fantasy center, is out. They expect her back at some point this season. And that's a quick play pitch out. And that's Christelle Harris. In very familiar territory, the end zone.
Tight split by the offensive line. Quick pitch outside. Nobody outside except Harris and 2 DBs. You know what's going to happen when that happens, Mitch. 2 moves, she's in the end zone.
What a drive. 4 plays, 25 yards.
When she gets the ball in open space, you can't stop her. 1, 2, 3, 4 missed tackles and 1 push in the end zone.
A lot of poor arm tackling by this Atlanta defense.
After the play was over, we have unsportsmanlike, number 11 on black. The penalty is best after the extra point.
And tack that on, that's on Keon Harrison. An unsportsmanlike call. And that's just going to make it that much worse for this Atlanta team. Now the extra point attempt. Chicago's up 7. If they convert here, it's still within striking distance, but it looks like Chicago elects to go for 2 here, making this possibly a 2-score game.
A lot of time left with this Atlanta quick strike offense. I mean, there's almost 8 minutes left, so there's a lot of time for Atlanta to get back in the game.
8 minutes and 2 timeouts. This is the 2-point attempt by Heather Furr, bulldozing her way into the end zone. And that will indeed make this a 2-score game, putting up Chicago 22-13.
Atlanta knows that's Chicago's 2-point and 1-point conversion play, and that's just strength on strength, bigs on bigs, and it looks like Atlanta can't handle the bigs of Chicago.
And talk about the bigs of Chicago. We've been on her all night, Jamie Barwick, but she had an incredible surge alongside Nneka Nwani, allowing Heather Furr to get into the end zone. So Barwick hopefully turning a corner.
Great blocking right there. That's actually a great play because Heather Furr is so strong. And then if somehow the line is held up, you have Ferrari Harris pushing you from the back.
And now Dakota Hughes rallying that offense.
25 seconds. Hey, this thing is long from over. Hey, let's go. Scoring right here. Ohio left, be outside. On one. Ready, break.
The comeback kid. This is her time of the game. They're down 9, 2 scores, but a lot of time for Dakota.
That is one quarterback I would not want to be facing in this position. From the shotgun. Handoff to Naz Johnson. Ball is loose. Unbelievable. Johnson puts it on the ground. And Heather Furr on the recovery.
What an inopportune time for that to happen to Atlanta. It looked like Naz Johnson did give an open handoff pocket for Dakota to put the ball, but she put the ball on her outside hip and it popped out. Wow, big play by the Chicago defense recovering that ball.
And Atlanta continues to shoot itself in the foot. They've had their opportunities here tonight to knock off the champs and just cannot seem to capitalize on them.
Heather Furr, the MVP of the league, is licking her chops right now. If she can take her team in the end zone, this might be the final dagger for Atlanta.
Now a 1st and goal. A very short field for Chicago, and we've got another penalty and a late hit on Furr. That was Purnell. I'm not sure that was intentional. And we've got another call here by Roger Ainen, our head referee this afternoon. Allie Alberts and Clue looking on to see what this call is going to go against.
On the offense, number 5, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
And that's Dina Fagiano, the 3rd-year tight end, called for the false start.
Dina Fagiano, she's got a big following here. I saw that early in the game, Faggio's Italian Army.
But now they're backed up 5 yards. And that's Harris finding a seam and once again into the end zone. And that should be the final nail in the coffin. Although we still have over 7 minutes remaining. Coach Keith Hack knowing that was a demonstrative turnover by Naz Johnson. And just like a champion, they converted.
I've never seen Coach Keith Hack this happy. After all the trash, Coach Dane Robinson from Atlanta has been talking all week about how they're going to beat Chicago. I think Keith Hack knows he has this one going now.
Chicago is up 28-13. And now they're going to go for the 1-point attempt. This would be a crucial win in the Eastern Conference and all but give them another Eastern Conference championship. Another surge up the middle. This time the defense stops it up the middle. But Heather Furr getting to the left side and walking in. That extends Chicago's lead to 29-13.
She might have done this on purpose. It was stuffed up the middle. She just waits a second, then turns it outside. There's nobody there. Being the great athlete she is, she scores.
And that was a short field, all of 9 yards. It only took one play for this offense to punch it in. And now Dakota Hughes has her work cut out for her. Down 16 points, that's 2 scores. And about 6:40 and counting.
Don't count her out. We've seen it happen all last year. You think she's out overtime with a broken wrist, she throws a bomb for a touchdown.
1st and 10 from the 15, quick dump off to Lauren Ziegler. And Ziegler picks up 9 yards. Positive yardage is key right now as they've got to get a score here and get a defensive stop. And yet another score.
That's a solid play. I love the way Dakota Hughes climbs in the pocket. She waits for protection to revolve around her, then delivers a strikeout to Ziegler. A lot of time. I mean, this is a quick strike offense.
This is the best 2-minute offense in the LFL. And now they're going to need it. Dakota Hughes back to pass, trying the left side. Throwing into triple coverage. Pass intended for Lauren Ziegler.
smart play by Dakota Hughes. There was nothing there. She was double, even triple covered. Just threw it away, teed up again.
Now 3rd and 1, ball at midfield. Dakota Hughes will continue to test that defense. They did say they felt they could get some scores against the secondary. Now a low snap to Hughes. Able to get it on the right side. Great placement by Dakota Hughes. That completion to Naz Johnson.
Great eyes by Dakota Hughes. They had a twin set to the left. They put out the running back to the right, all by herself, one-on-one on Heather Furr, and she won right there. She looked left, came back, and hit Johnson.
That'll move the sticks. It's a 1st and 10 for Atlanta. Again from the shotgun. Scrambling to the left, not finding somebody. Now to the right side, cutting inside. Chantel Taylor and Nneka Nwani meeting at the quarterback. Now a little push and shove. And we may have an unsportsmanlike call on Chicago here as they shove Dakota Hughes down to the ground.
Wow, that's one place I wouldn't want to be, between Nneka Nwani and Chantel Taylor. Bow! Get sandwiched.
The middle linebacker, Nneka Nwani, doing damage on both sides.
We have 2 fouls on the play. We got holding, number 3 on the offense. We got personal foul, roughing the passer, number 3 on the defense. Those penalties will offset. We'll replay, 1st down.
That was a holding call on Adrian Purnell of Atlanta. And a late hit call against Nneka Nwani of Chicago, so that will offset. And we'll replay the down.
I didn't see the late hit by Nwani. Just looked like a good tackle to me.
It looked like she shoved Dakota Hughes to the ground as she was trying to get up. And that's what the officials saw. That's Lauren Ziegler taking quite a hit from Chantel Taylor, but able to hold on to the ball. And she's been doing a lot of that this year, yards after the catch on that quick slant.
I like what Dakota Hughes is doing. Chicago's in kind of a prevent defense with the safeties really deep. Get the ball to Ziegler in space underneath. They're taking 7, 10 yards at a pop.
Now a 2nd and 3 ball at the Chicago 12. Again from the shotgun, gonna try the right corner of the end zone. And we've got a penalty. Jody Nettles had the ball. And that may go against Dominique Collins, the left corner for Chicago.
Good read by Dakota Hughes. One-on-one, Jody Nettles in the end zone against Collins.
Pass interference. Number 13 on the defense. The penalty was in the end zone. The ball will be spotted on the 1-yard line. 1st down.
Indeed, that call went against Dominique Collins. So now Atlanta's in business. Ball at the 1-yard line. And still 4 minutes remaining and 2 timeouts. You got to figure that's an eternity for this offense.
Absolutely. Dakota Hughes might be the best in the LFL at moving secondaries with her eyes.
Here comes the 1st and goal play. Hughes under center. And bad snap. I'm not sure if Hughes ever got it. And that looks like Allie Alberts at the bottom of the pile. Another huge turnover for Atlanta.
Just when you think they're going in the end zone, it was a short snap. Her hands were under there. I think the ball was just short and it went right to the ground.
Now Atlanta came into this game as the best team in the league with a turnover margin of +6. And they've turned it over a bunch tonight.
A lot of times inside the 5-yard line, the center will take a different explosion route off the ball and short snap the ball into the fingers instead of to the palms of the quarterback.
And that's Christelle Harris. She brings it out from the 1-yard line, gains 5 yards on that. And now the clock will continue to run. How many times have we said it tonight? Atlanta has had so many opportunities. Marched that previous play down to the 1-yard line and just could not convert.
That's a game changer right there. If they would have got in, it's under 4 minutes so they could try the onside kick. You never know what would have happened.
Now a 2nd and 5. Atlanta's down to 2 timeouts. They'll be able to stop it a couple times as well as the 2-minute warning. But you got to factor this has to be a 4 and out. 2nd and 5 play, pitch left. Christelle Harris finding a seam, then running into Lauren Ziegler. But not before she gained 9 yards on the carry.
I just love watching her run the football. Once she gets to the second level, she turns it into a different gear and just attacks the secondary.
And that'll move the sticks, and for all intents and purposes, make this virtually impossible, as now Chicago just simply has to milk this clock. And we're down to near 2:20 remaining, and I'm shocked Atlanta's not calling a timeout here.
Absolutely. It's 2 scores with an onside kick. It can easily happen within 3 minutes.
A lot of criticism on time management for Atlanta over the year. Offensive coordinator Mark White, Coach Dane Robinson, who didn't elect an onside kick in their first matchup versus Chicago. So coaching has been suspect at times for this Atlanta team.
I don't understand it. You're right. They have a chance to get the ball back.
That is a 2-minute warning.
And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. It has been all Christelle Harris and the Chicago Bliss.
Follow your favorite LFL players and teams and receive breaking news stories. Like the LFL's official Twitter page, twitter.com/mylfl.
Back here to Chicago, Illinois, as we look forward to next week. We're going to take our act to the Western Conference. It's Sydney Cummings and the Las Vegas Sin traveling to Los Angeles to take on Ashley Salerno and the Temptation.
2 outstanding quarterbacks, Salerno, the former MVP, and Cindy Cummings, a flamethrower from Las Vegas.
And while we were away, they named the game MVP. And who else? Christelle the Ferrari Harris going out with her mom to midfield on a special Mother's Day celebration here with the LFL, where we saw moms being introduced with players. And now how special is that to go out to midfield with your mom carrying the game MVP?
That's a great moment, but what a game for Christelle the Ferrari Harris. 148 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Now a 2nd and 10. Fur under center, and they're going to go to the game MVP. Christelle Harris on the left side, kind of being battered around a bit. However, the clock continues to run. Atlanta not calling a timeout for whatever reason, as Christelle Harris carries for 5 yards.
I simply don't understand why the coaches of Atlanta won't call a timeout. I don't know if you saw, after Heather Furr handed that ball off, she got popped in the head again. Another cheap shot by Atlanta.
Atlanta struggling a bit right now. 3rd and 5 with 1:20. And now we've got an official's timeout. Not sure if there's a call on the play here. Even Adrian Purnell a bit confused. And this has been an odd 2 minutes of football here. Atlanta choosing to not use his timeouts. And we are down to 1:20.
I just don't understand it. I mean, there's a shot to win this game. You got a quarterback with a gun that can score at any time during the game. Over a minute left, and you can do an onside kick, and they don't call timeout.
It is a bit baffling, to say the least. It's not like you're going to save your 2 timeouts with 20 seconds remaining in the game. And this has got to lay on the doorstep of offensive coordinator Mark White and head coach Dane Robinson of Atlanta. Now a 3rd and 5 for Chicago. That is another inside handoff. Nneka Nwani trying to stay in bounds, but getting tackled out of bounds. That'll stop the clock.
Oh, here we go. You knew this was going to happen.
Nneka Nwani trying to stay in bounds was actually just pushed out of bounds. And she's not happy about that. For Atlanta, that does stop the clock at 1:15.
I'm really curious if the 2 coaches, Keith Hack and Dane Robinson, are going to shake hands after this game.
I wouldn't bank on that. Now a 4th and 1 play. And this is crucial. You still have 2 timeouts remaining. It's a long shot at this point, but if you get a stop and a quick strike and an onside kick, you're back in business.
We've seen Dakota Hughes do it. It's not like it's going to be a shocker if she does it, but you have to get the ball back.
Yeah, you got to put her in opportunity for success, and they're not doing that. 4th and 1, Christelle Harris, and that'll do it. She gains 6 yards, will move the chains, and apparently she stayed in bounds. I could have sworn she got out of bounds, but horrible clock management up top. We were talking about the coaches, but apparently the house people need a little work as well.
I'll tell you what, this has become a black hole, and here we go again. Chicago, you don't know how they do it, but all they do is win. I mean, they might become America's team. They win every time.
Absolutely. But I'm telling you what, Atlanta gave this game away. I think you can make the argument that Atlanta, from 1 through 20, is possibly the better team. But they've done something, or something has happened to them every one of these last 3 matchups against Chicago that has cost them.
I agree. I totally agree with that statement. They have head to toe. They have the best talent, arguably, in the league. But here we go. Chicago wins.
And that'll do it. 29-13 as the final seconds tick off. And how appropriate that Atlanta has both timeouts still available to him.
Unbelievable. I just don't understand it. It's just bad coaching. He's a great coach, but time management-wise, they're not doing well this season at all.
Without a doubt, this coaching staff did not help themselves tonight as we go down to the field.
I mean, this is a great competition. This is what the NFL is about.
I love it. I love it.
I wish we could stop the bullshit, but that's probably never gonna happen.
Game is game, and after that,
yeah.
Y'all are sweet athletes.
Great sportsmanship amongst 2 of the league's best. But this was an absolute battle. Everything we thought it would be, an Eastern Conference matchup going down to the wire, and they'll set it up for a bigger matchup somewhere down the road. For Bobby Hugo, Audra Marie, this is Mitch Mortaza, and we will see you next week on LFL Football Night.